Right. I guess I just started recording. Well, welcome to Unity. It's gonna be a very casual video to learn how to make UI inside of Unity and then prototype it and also run it in iPhone device. I will try to make everything super short, not very fast, but pretty much useful. And hopefully when you open Unity, it's gonna look like this. If not, then it will be probably something like that. And if it's like this, then just grab the game tab in here and then attach it to the other side of the UI so you would have better representation. So I'm gonna have a very short introduction to Unity, what is the layout in here, and then after that we're gonna move straight forward to the UI stuff and how to make a text box, let's call it like that, also a button, and then we're gonna make slider as well. And if I hit play in here, then we can see everything is going to be interactable and we can move things around. So I'm going to delete this because we're going to make it. And by the way, if you don't see the iPhone X stuff in here, then that means you don't have the iOS package. Just simply go to File, Build Setting, and then make sure that you are in iOS mode. So when you have that, then you're gonna have, if you click in here, you're gonna see different resolution for different iPhones, which is gonna be super handy. And also make sure that the scale is on the minimum number for your computer. So let's start and then see the layout. On the left side, we have hierarchy. And on the right side, we have inspector. And then on the down we have project. So in hierarchy, whatever we have is called game object, and the game objects are going to be inside of the game. So they're going to be interactable. They're going to affect things in our game or in our application in this case. And then when you click on any object, then you're going to see that the inspector is going to be different for each of them. So in inspector, we have different sections, like we have in here transform, and then we have camera, and then we have audio listener. And this is for main camera as a game object. Every single of these titles are a component, and each component has different variables or different parameters that we can change them and then work with them. On the button in here, we have different folders, and to access these folders in your computer, you can literally just right click on it and then choose reveal in Finder, or if you're in Windows, you can choose show in Explorer, and then you can see where your files or your assets are. Um, so I already have a bunch of default folder for this project, which I'm going to use them later. I'm just going to go to texture folder because we're going to use the assets from here. So let's go ahead and then make the first thing for our project. So just simply in hierarchy, just click on create UI, and then let's make an image. So when I click on that, you can see it automatically added two different game objects. One of them is the canvas and the other one is the image, which what I wanted. So let's start with the canvas. So canvas is literally where all of your UI are going to be appear and are going to be rendered inside of it. And I'm not going to go deep in this video. We're just going to try to make things working. So click on canvas, go to the inspector tab, and then in canvas component, click on pixel perfect. When you click on that, then it's gonna render your UI in a better way, which the lines are gonna be better because it's gonna apply anti-aliasing into it. And also in here, click on a scale with screen size, and then change these values to your resolution in here. Since we are in portrait mode, you need to put 1125 first, and then 2436. So what it does is that if we change the resolution to any other iPhone or iPad, then it's gonna keep the proportion of our UI. So we don't, it's gonna scale them by itself, and which is gonna make our job easier later. So the second thing is the image, which is what we're gonna work with. So in image, you can see we have a rect transfer component, and we also have image component. Let's start with the rectangle. So on the left side, we have a square, and if I click on it, you can see the anchor presets. This is gonna define where the anchor, or where the canvas is gonna start as its size or dimension. Right now it is started from the middle, and if I click here and then I click on this icon with this red dot in the left corner, you can see that icon is also moved to the left corner. At the same time, it also changed the position of our image in that canvas. So you can see 612 in here as X, and 612 is here for X as well. So if I change all of these to 00, you can see it moved here. By the way, if I hold my middle mouse button, then I can pan around. If you're on the laptop and you don't have middle button for your mouse, you can just simply click on this icon and then just move around simply. So I want to get closer to that image square that I have. I just click on it in here and then hit F on my keyboard, so it's going to automatically zoom in it on it. So as you can see, part of the I'm going to click on this so I can move my image. So as you can see, almost half of my image is out of the canvas, and I have 00 value in here. The reason of that is because the pivot point of my image is at the middle, and I want to move it to 00 to the corner in here. And after changing the pivot, you can see now my X and Y value are changed as well. So I'm going to move them to 00 again, and now you can see it's fitting right there. So that was all about the rectangle transform component. So we have the canvas anchor and or pivot point for our canvas, and then we have the positions, and then we have width and height, which if I change it, you can see the dimension of my image is going to change as well. Let's put it back to 100. And if I click in here, I can choose an image. So now we can see something different. So let's talk about these tools right on the top in here. I just talked about the panning, and then we have moving. So I can click on the arrows and then move my image around. I can also rotate it around if I want. I'm just going to Control Z so it goes back to whatever it was. I can scale it, but if I scale it, then you can see that the width and height are not changing, and that can make some problems later. So try to avoid using scale and just move with the width and height. That would be better. So it might be a little bit hard for you to just go here and play with the numbers. So instead of that, we can use another tools, which is this guy in here. You can also choose it with T on your keyboard, which is a transform for 2D stuff inside of Unity. So now I can just click here, hold my left button mouse, and then move it around. And I can also change the width and height directly by moving the edges in here. Also, if I use this transfer tools in here, then Unity is going to be sensitive to the middle and also the edges, so it's going to snap your icons or images or buttons or whatever you have to the other icons or images or to the edge of your canvas as well. So this is pretty much handy tools to use it. So that being said, I actually want to change my image background. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about images by themselves. So let's just make this bigger so we can see more details right in here. So if I click on this image on my texture, I can see the resolution right in here in this little box, and I can also see the size, right? So many times when we import an image, we want to make sure that we have the right resolution, like it's not super big or it's not super small to be pixelated. So one of the tools that Unity has is that the max size of your texture right in here, you can change it. So if I put it on 256 and then hit apply, then you can see it became a little bit blur. However, the size of the texture also decreased a lot, which is really good because when we want to release our application, we want to reduce the size of the package, and this can be very handy. So I'm just gonna put it on 512. I don't. It's not gonna. It is not pixelated anymore. So that's what I'm gonna keep uh, at this moment. So um, yep, I'm gonna apply it. I'm gonna go back to the texture folder. So that's how I just added a texture as a background for my application. The next thing that I want to do, let me just change the name of this just by double clicking on it. I'm gonna name it background. There it is. And what I'm gonna do now is just adding a text box. So for doing that, I'm gonna add another image. Hit F again to just get closer to it. And then I'm gonna choose this image this time. And I'm gonna move it to the top, to the middle, and then change its size. So it's gonna be a little bit different than background. And now I'm gonna add the text. So I go to UI, we have text, and we also have Text Mesh Pro. So Text Mesh Pro is newer, and I recommend to always use whatever Text Mesh Pro you have. So if I wanted to make button, I would just go with Button Text Mesh Pro because it's much more better. So I'm gonna use Mesh Pro, and you can see it just added a text. I'm gonna drag it right in here, and so the first thing that I want